And 11 Alive political team member Zach Merchant joining me now. And Zach, let me tell you, buddy, we have a lot to unpack here. A lot of questions are swirling about this decision. First, what was the tipping point for the president?
Yeah, that's the question that so many folks have been asking, and there's really not an easy answer to it. I spoke with two Democratic strategists, sources inside and connected to the Democratic Party. They said that there was no single sort of crystallizing moment. Instead, it was more of a compounding effect of weeks of criticism and calls for President Biden to step down, both from public statements from prominent Democrats and also some leaked, and many have said strategically leaked, calls for the president to step down. And that compounding on top of reports that fundraising has been slipping for the president since his performance at that Atlanta debate. Plus, a third factor, they say the president is concerned about his legacy, and they wondered if he had thought about, and probably has, that if he goes on, if he stays in the race and he runs against former President Trump and loses in November, that would tarnish his roughly 5 decades of public service. And they say all of that stacked up to a decision that we heard today to step out of this race.
Like, what, 107 days away from the election. So we know that Biden has already endorsed Harris as a new potential nominee. However, who could be some other contenders in the Democratic Party, Zach? All right, looks like we're having some. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
If you can still hear me, if you can't, cut away. But President Biden, as you mentioned, has endorsed Vice President Harris. She's clearly the front runner, the sources, Democratic sources tell us, in this sort of unprecedented territory we are in. But they say also that the Democratic Party would be wise from a strategic perspective to get behind and coalesce behind Vice President Harris, and to do so quickly. As you mentioned, we're only a few months away from Election Day. But they say another bit of intrigue is, if Vice President Harris becomes the Democratic Party's nominee, who could be her running mate? A couple names have been floated that I've been told about. One is North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. One source telling me that he could be an interesting addition to the ticket to help potentially swing some southern states into the Democratic column. Another name that another source floated is Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, which is where I am, which is why I'm not in the studio right now. I was on vacation. They say that Governor Shapiro could be potentially a real asset to the Democratic ticket, particularly in states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, key swing states in this race.
I guess we just have to see what happens in the next couple of days. Zach, thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your vacation.